Hey challengers, so this week we've run through the warm-up, mobility, the meat of our workout, and now the cool down, which I am definitely going to include flexibility work here. This also is some mobility, but the goal of our cool down is to take our heart rate from here and bring it right back to homeostasis. So your warm-up was to get your heart rate up, and your cool down is to get your heart rate back down. So you could just take the warm up and sort of reverse it nice and slow to cool things back down. But today we're putting in this flexibility, mobility portion. So I want you to come into a plank. We're going to do this all together, of course. And we're starting with what social media calls the world's greatest stretch. So I want you to bring your right foot up to your right hand. And then take your right arm up to the sky. Nice and easy. Let's switch sides. La-di-da, la-di-da, easy peasy. Now, if it's too much for you to do in a plank, you can definitely do this in a tabletop position on your knees. In fact, sometimes if I'm just completely spent at the end of my workout, I just make the cool down a little easier on myself. Again, nice and easy, side to side. Slowing things down, taking big, deep breaths. Let's do one more. You guys have probably seen me do these in the gym more times than you can count. And let it release. I'm coming down onto my back. I'm gonna take arms out like wings, and let's go for some iron crosses. So I'll take my left foot over towards the right hand and come back, and then the other side. Now this is really similar to the stretch we just did, the world's greatest. But this in particular just feels so good on my back. It's so easy. And any of these pieces, you can hold them, just take a moment, and then move on. One more time. And then we're going into some static stretches. And static stretches you always want to leave for the end of your workout. So let's stand up. And I'm going to take my feet nice and wide and just fold down right in the middle. Now my knees are soft, my head is heavy. And you can hear me take big deep breaths, it's important. Walk your hands over to the right, draw your nose towards your knee. And over to the left. Now our static stretches, on average, we want to hold for about 16 seconds or more. Back to center. Roll it on up. We're coming into a half kneel position. I want you to take your left leg forward. You're up on that right knee. We're not pressing forward, but we are slightly forward. Okay, so here's the difference. Here's a press. Here's a slight. You got it? Good. Now my right leg is back. I'm going to take that right arm, reach it up to the sky, relax the shoulder, and then from the rib cage, hinge over. I can feel this all the way from my armpit down through my ribs, down into the top of my thigh. Ooh, big time today. And breathe When you take those big deep breaths, it helps your ribs expand, which stretches those intercostal muscles, those muscles between the ribs. And then let it release. Let's switch sides. So I'll take my right leg forward. Little press. Good. Left arm up. Relax the shoulder, and then from the rib cage, hinge over. Now the other thing that deep breathing does is it stimulates a nerve in your body called the vagus nerve, and it runs from your brain down into your belly. This nerve is responsible for a lot of things, but one of the main benefits is that it calms you down. So we've all heard of the fight or flight response, that need for when we're overstimulated to either fight or to run away. The vagus nerve is the opposite of that. It counteracts that, and it helps relax you. All right, we're gonna sit back on those heels and come into a child's pose. So knees are wide, toes touch, and just let your heart drop between your thighs. Nice and easy, roll yourself up. So when planning your workouts, remember that not only is our warm-up and our mobility connected to the main meat of our workout, but our cool down is as well. So if you did a lot of squats that day, you're gonna wanna focus on stretching out those hips, those glutes, those hamstrings and quads. If it was a bench press day, you're gonna work on stretching out your chest and your shoulders and your upper back. Makes sense, right? So your cool down is connected to whatever the meat of your workout was. All right, guys, I hope by now you feel pretty relaxed. You feel ready to take on the day. I will see you next time for our next challenge activity.